Good, it's your boy Jody Joe. Welcome to Jody's Corner. I'm Jody Joe, but y'all already knew that. This is E.
What's poppin' YouTube land? What it do?
The thirstiest nigga in all of LA, Virgo King.
What's going on? Hide your bitch.
And the man, the myth, the legend, the code is here.
Live. Let's get it.
2 strokes and he's done. Just as corny as he is horny. The Flash.
And I am up in here today too.
And speaking about being up in things and horny, we got a special guest up in this motherfucker. ConsciouzTV's in the house, man. Shut up.
ConsciouzTV, Mr. I fuck your bitch and your man.
All right, so over here we're talking about the situation that's going on with Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle, you know that guy that's been trying to cancel about his jokes about the LGBTQ movement, and it's only even more appropriate that we have someone here who is a part of the LGBTQ demographic who keeps it 100. So I really look forward to hearing what Conscious has to say. Netflix is standing behind Dave Chappelle, and they've announced 4 new Dave Chappelle comedy specials to which he will be the host, and he'll bring up another comedian and let them do the comedy set as he kind of like an interview next up process. So looking at it, the first person that's going to get some love is Earthquake.
Okay, I know him. He's old.
Earthquake is funny as shit. Very funny comedian. I'm a fan of Earthquake.
I like Earthquake.
And the next person will have Donnell Rawlings, who is I'm broke, bitch.
Oh yeah, his homeboy.
His homie from the Chappelle Show.
Yeah.
He says that he wanted them because they were very formulaic in his career.
You better have a LGBT in here. Watch.
You think you have an LGBTQ?
Yes.
Why not?
Go ahead.
Why not?
I mean, Dave ain't built like that. I feel like Dave will get an LGBTQ comic if they're the funniest.
He said he did try a LGBT.
His friend that he had.
Did she commit suicide?
Yeah.
She committed suicide, bro.
Yeah.
He brought her on stage and
That's why he
everything.
got mad about that shit. Like, you talking about I got problems with it, and my close friend was about that, and they died. You
Right.
think that I'm gonna play around with that shit?
So we know that Dave Chappelle is a hugely popular draw for the streamer, but his last Netflix special, October's The Closer, it drew considerable criticism from the media, as well as from many of his fans for the comic's lengthy discussion of transgender movement, segments that were blasted as transphobic. Netflix CEO Tad Sarandos defended the special, and rewarded him with this new special that he has. Also, as far as Dave Chappelle's solo work, he has something coming out in LA at the freaking the Hollywood Bowl. It's called Netflix is a Joke, which is going down April the 28th of this year. So not only is Dave Chappelle going to get his own special for Netflix around that time, but he's also going to be producing and hosting the 4 specials for the other 4 comedians. He's on some boss shit. This is basically like a promotion. It's basically like, look, Dave, we'll give you a lot of money just to host the shit and just show us your face. So I want to know, what is the take? Who wants to go first? I don't want Conscious to go first. I want to get somebody from the league to go first. Actually, I think the whole league should go first, then go Conscious, and then bounce back off what Conscious has to say, because ConsciouzTV ain't gonna hold nothing back, and he's part of the LGBTQ, I don't know all the shit, movement. So I'll go first then. I think that this is a W for Dave Chappelle.
Absolutely.
He fought against cancel culture, who's trying to cancel him, and in my opinion, he would never being transphobic.
Right.
Dave Chappelle was just keeping it 100. Dave Chappelle even befriended someone in that movement. But the problem was the transphobic community. Now here's how the trans community, in my opinion, they want to be equal, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Being equal is getting these jokes, my nigga.
Exactly.
That's true equality.
Yep.
That means we gonna joke on some Asians, we gonna joke on some niggas, and we gonna joke on some trans too.
Yeah.
That's true equality.
Right.
So how is it that when you start to joke on them, they go, oh no, canceling, that's offensive, no. But then comedy is supposed to be protected
Yeah, exactly.
by comedy, the satire and shit. It's an art form.
Because they feel like they exclusive. Most of them feel like they exclusive from that shit. They don't have the to have the right to say that because of what they go through or what they've been through. Well, you just same just like everybody else. You claim you want to be the same, so why not? A lot of them are whatever.
Go speakers.
A lot of them.
Go ahead.
Oh no, we need more. I forgot.
Go ahead.
A lot of them wants to scream out, I want this and I want that, but then when it comes down to it, it's a whole ton of bullshit, and it's simple bullshit because of the fact that they feel like they're being attacked or they're being this. But the thing is, you scream every day that you're being attacked. You scream every day that you want this, and when you finally get it, it's an issue. Why? Because they feel like they shouldn't be never talked about. You can talk about the straights, you can talk about anything else, but you can't talk about that, and that's fucked up.
And my
That's
guy
unfair.
Vito went over there to the protest over in I think Pasadena, and he held a sign up there with all the protesters with the LGBTQ movement who were trying to cancel Netflix. They were protesting, and Vito went there on the opposite side, and he had a sign up that said Dave Chappelle is funny, and they attacked him. They ripped his sign, broke his sign,
Of course they
tore it off, being aggressive
That's a toxic.
to somebody who's just trying to be like them.
That's
Protest.
That's how they do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a double standard, bro, and I think it's
always
not
been
fair.
like
Go ahead, Vargo.
Yeah, man. I think this is also a W for Dave Chappelle, man. He deserves it. It's not just because he's funny. It's because of, the knowledge he's dropping as well. And I don't like that he's being attacked for using a free comedy's always been a free platform, like a free space for people to speak how they feel. Even in the street, you should be able to do that too. But comedy has always been that way. Even when it comes to race, religion, gender, it don't matter. You should be able to speak how you feel regardless. And I feel that the LGBTQ community needs to back the fuck off. No offense, Conscious, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if he's going to take offenses. I don't know how he feels about it.
Right. That's the whole part of the realness.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just real shit. You know what I'm saying? He's just making jokes, man. He clearly said multiple times that he has gay friends, and I'm just saying, what?
They don't want to hear that shit.
Huh?
They don't want to hear that.
Exactly. I mean, he's clearly saying he doesn't want to hurt anybody, but yet people still get offended.
But then again, just because that's the equivalent of somebody who says something that is allegedly racist towards blacks, and then they say, "But I have a black friend."
Right.
Doesn't really mean you ain't really racist. You know what
Yeah,
I
but
mean?
it's not like he's going around calling them the F word.
Right,
It's
exactly.
not like he's not doing that. He's respecting their decisions. He's always done that. It's just he finds it funny that people dress a certain way and do certain things, but he doesn't hate them. It doesn't come from a place of hate, because a hate crime is a real thing.
Yeah.
Like, there are people that hate him just because he's black and able to say this shit.
Facts.
That's real shit.
Facts. How dare that black man say these things about us?
Exactly.
Cole.
Well, all of it's funny to me because I'm off the wall with this shit. I already knew stuff like this was gonna happen. I just didn't know when. The same way, like you said, you can say racist things and then, oh, but I have a black friend, and they look past it and I'm like, well, no, well, you're still not allowed. And just like Dave said, the LGBTQ all the way to Z community, they have jumped on this, in my opinion, where a comedian could get on stage and make as many jokes as they want, even racist ones, except you can't make black racist jokes if you're white. And to me, they have jumped on this in the sense of they want to jump on it where you cannot make LGBTQ all the way to Z jokes unless you're a part of that community.
Right.
That's the way I see they're doing it. It's like if you're what is it, cis male, cis female, all that bullshit they be saying, you're not allowed to make jokes about us because making jokes about us is hate speech.
Right.
Just like if a white man makes racist jokes about black folks, it's not comedy no more. It's hate speech, and everybody's gonna get him off the stage. They have jumped on that as if though.
You're right about that.
As if though they. Well, I'm not. I don't think they should jump on it. I'm saying they have jumped on that as if though they've gone through years and years of prosecution and suffering and all that. It's like, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? When Dave mentioned the whole thing about racism and they feel like they have that right, like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
That's messed up to me. But like I said, I believe that it was going to happen sooner or later. And if they keep giving it any type of validation, it's only going to get worse. It's going to get worse.
I agree, it's going to get worse. We have a really good melting pot here with the league. We have black folks, we have a member of the LGBTQ movement, and part of all the goddamn movements to ConsciouzTV. He's a person of the world. We also have white men here. Flash, can we get your opinion on this topic, please?
Basically, you guys said everything. Comedy is supposed to be a platform, where whatever you say is supposed to be funny and supposed to be let out. What you've been through funny situations and you want to get it out and let the whole world know. Is that's how it always been. Even about race, all the religion, all the sexuality, everything is. It's supposed to be funny.
It's supposed to be protected by the balance of what comedy is, right?
Right. So, like, I don't think anything should be a hate crime that's been said on that stage, that's been written on that script. Nothing should be. I
agree.
Some.
Now,
people
let me ask you:
offended.
if a white man make a black joke that ain't about his big cock, And it's on the negative light about, man, black guy was in the thing, had to pull my iPhone a little bit extra tighter to my hip. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to come wrong with that insurance
I
policy.
laugh at that, bro.
Bro,
Are black people ready to handle that?
Hey, no, they ain't ready for that.
They're really not ready for that.
All right, then.
But if it's said on the stage,
it should be okay.
it should be okay.
Let's go be the final spot.
If it's on stage,
All right, let's go to my man Conscious, bro. What do you think about the situation, bro?
Oh man, but I think the dice are loaded in a discussion like this. For one, I actually was one of the oddballs out in my community when it came to the special. I never really made the connection that Dave's specials or any of his specials were particularly about LGBT related shit, because even if you listen closely to the special had to do with white privilege that even exists within the white LGBT community. So if you listen to all of his examples of when he got into it with someone, it was like a white lesbian stud. It was a big buff tube top crop wearing white gay male, and he was being clever in trying to illustrate that, look, privilege exists on many levels, even within this LGBT spectrum. And
can you talk about that?
Yeah, I want to know more about
that. Can you
that.
talk about that? Because I don't want to interrupt, because I know you're the one who could tell us about it, bro. Because Dave Chappelle, you're right. He was trying to show that even within the LGBTQ movement, nigga, if you a nigga, you a nigga.
Facts.
Because he used a bit. If you call the police, you're going to be running just like me. Whether you LGBTQ or not, brother.
Right.
You know, so let me ask you, what do you mean about the issues, the levels within the community?
So there's a term called intersectionality. And what happens a lot of times with a lot of civil rights movements, just like the women's equality movement was initially started by black women who were talking about the lack of power and resource and respect they were afforded under a white male patriarchy. So when that movement was began by black female civil rights leaders, that shit was hijacked by corny ass goofy mayonnaise women. And so the movement now largely represents white women who you see as the face of the Me Too movement, who you largely see as the face of the women's equality movement. And what happens when the dominant society oftentimes gets involved in things like this is the real marginalized people who begin those movements to begin with get overshadowed once again. So here it is, you have the face of the LGBT equality movement is what? It's white LGBT, it's white queer people, it's white trans women and men. So we don't benefit as queer niggas underneath any privilege that comes or any benefits or resources that come with the LGBT shit. Even if you look largely at those,
it's like Elvis,
even if you look largely at those who are protesting Netflix, protesting Dave, it's largely white LGBTQ individuals who are out there waving their fucking flags. So I hate that there's a big misunderstanding that black and brown queer people somehow benefit from everything that's happening around queerness in our current society, because it's not. Even a lot of shit that they pass on a federal level, all that shit is legislative and federal. There's no real actual privilege and power or immunity. Like, black trans women still getting fucking murdered every day. Black queer men are still getting bullied out of their classrooms, out of their communities, still having to fight every day because they are androgynous or femme. They're not respected in their hoods. They're having to be shot, be jumped, like, the harassment ensues. So long story short, I think that for one, art should be art. I think music should be able to be as ratchet and pussy popping and whoppish as it needs to be. I think that comedy should be able to encompass darkness. I think that jokes around murder, around all that should be able to exist, because at the end of the day, you get to not tune the fuck in. That's where your personal freedom comes in at. Like, you get to not support Dave Chappelle if he's not your cup of tea. You get to not come to the comedy show if you're in your fucking feelings. If you feel he's homophobic or transphobic,
Right.
you get to find you another comedian who suits well.
Right.
However, I will say,
Okay. However,
We with you
Like
so
all
far, dog. All this
marginalized
has been
people.
fire.
like all marginalized people, I don't care whether it's queer, I don't care whether it's black woman, I don't care whether it's the black community at large. For me, cancel culture should be more about attempting to make a moral appeal than a punishment unto institutions or popular people who maybe don't understand their privilege, their power, their stage presence, and their influence. So I would have preferred the community to have just encouraged Dave to have a conversation, which the man is interested and was interested
Yep.
in having a conversation to further the dialogue around it. I don't really do cancel culture, so I don't really like cancel culture. I just prefer,
I hate it.
yeah, let's just make a moral appeal and have the fucking conversations and attempt to clear things up.
So basically, what you're saying is, like how they came for him on Twitter, like, "Yo, Dave, this is insensitive, man." And then Dave would be like, "Oh man, my bad. I didn't mean to offend y'all." And then it was like, "All right, well, for sure, just be mindful next time." And that'd have been the end of it. Like that's like, without the canceling, I don't want to go to
I
your
got
show.
that.
Shut him down. Take away his money. Take the spoon out of the freaking
Right,
motherfucker's
right.
mouth. That's some bullshit. E, you want to go? Go ahead.
Man, this is shit that I always trip out of. I felt like, and I hear this a lot of the LGBTQ plus or trans or whatever, they always go in about a lot of different shit. But I felt like a lot of them scream about, I want this is how things supposed to be. But I felt a lot of them is crying out just to be crying out. I feel like a lot of them don't even know what the fuck they want or who they are inside, period.
Sure.
A lot of them always constantly saying a whole bunch of shit. But they still scream out, oh, we want this, we want that. But also, the shit that really hit me is the trans and the LGBTQs and the plus and all that other shit scream out this, rights, we want these rights, we want this, we want this, we want that. But once again, as a black man and everybody in here, where the fuck is the black rights at, bro? Why black people have never had their rights? How come the gay community can get their rights, but the black people can't get their rights? How come this person can scream out this, but we can't get that? We still never got that. We still basically scum and shit on shoes or on the ground, and everybody can get their way. I don't think that shit is right, and I never did.
Well said. I'm gonna add to that because Dave talked about that too in his special. He was like, "Dang, I'm actually envious of the LGBTQ movement.
all the way to Z.
We've been at this for 400 years trying to get our 40 acres and a mule, and up comes the LGBTQ movement and got more equality than niggas do."
I guess it's because of what Conscious said.
Because exactly,
Because of the white. The whites have hijacked it.
here's a black being part of the movement who says shit ain't for us. This ain't for the niggas black and brown.
Yeah.
These the white folk doing this shit.
Right.
It's the white power influencing and doing this shit.
Right.
Racism is above all of that other shit. I don't care about your sex. You suck cock, so do I. Sorry though, you can't come in the club because you're still a nigger. So sorry. I'll give you a 10-second head start before we start lynching. That's the best I could do for you. Ain't that some shit? That just goes to tell you that this racism shit is at the top of the motherfucker, bro.
Facts.
That's
It's
the
always been.
top of the hate chain up there, boy.
It's always been.
I don't care if we have the same sex. I don't care if we suck or lick the same thing. If you ain't got this skin, you ain't in.
It's always been like that, bro.
And that's the most trashiest shit ever, bro. It's like, where is the respect and where is the line that's going to finally be drawn? Where it's like, okay, we're going to give this, we're going to accept this. You know what I mean? And it's like, as we see on this earth, it's not. And that's the most fucked up shit about it. Everybody's screaming out what they want. What's next? Somebody gonna say, well, I want to be like this or I want to be like that. Okay, we're going to give you that. But what about these people? Or what about that people? They're not. They don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of parts of most of the LGBTQ that scream out, if it's not done their way, it's not done right. If it's not done this way, it's not done right. If you're not me, if you can't be like me, then you're not shit. And that's not cool either.
So we all agree that Dave Chappelle shouldn't have been canceled. He's not.
He didn't get canceled. Yeah.
He's not. Even if he was, he should not have been. You know,
Yeah.
should not be. And we all are in support of him getting his money and continuing on. That's good.
And I will be there watching every special.
Heck yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say that this is where I give some critique to my heterosexual counterparts. If they would get the fuck over the issue of homophobia and transphobia to begin with, you can have a collective movement that could encompass fighting for everybody's fucking solidarity, because LGBT people largely are willing to kind of align themselves with all other marginalized folk. But there is an actual issue of homophobia and an actual fucking issue of transphobia that exists within the heterosexual community that wants nothing to do with this community. So it seems to me that if the black community understands what it's like to be marginalized, disenfranchised, disrespected, to have no immunity, to be gunned down, to not be able to live here, sit there, drink out of this water fountain, etc., then you would also think there would be a larger capacity for empathy regarding any other disenfranchised community. And that's actually not the case for whatever reason. So I always feel like within the heterosexual community, there needs to be a real wrestling around the way that other marginalized folk are treated, and why isn't there more community and bringing together of political power, bringing together a socio-economic power, bringing together of these forces.
I agree with that. I want to say something in response to that.
Go ahead.
He's right. There's a lot of phobes over here, bro. Not here. I'm talking about in the heterosexual community.
He's right.
I'm gonna say, like, I want to ask you a question. You said that there's a divide within the O movement itself between the white LGBTQ and the people of color in the LGBTQ movement, the blacks and the browns. And there's also a divide in between all of the LGBTQ movement and heterosexual men as well. If one of those factions was to come together, which one do you think would come together first? Heterosexual black men and the black side of the LGBTQ movement, or the white side of the LGBTQ movement and the black side of the LGBTQ movement?
Probably the black and white, to be honest.
Hell.
The black and white in the community, in LGBTQ?
Because the thing is,
I think it's the opposite.
Even though white LGBT members are racist and stereotypical and racially profiled and socially discriminate against black LGBT card-carrying members, they're unfortunately still not the ones killing black trans women and killing and
that's a good point.
Making life explicitly miserable for black queer men who are raised in black spaces, who go to school largely with heterosexual men and women, who have to participate in religious systems, the black church, who is deeply homophobic. And so the white LGBT thing sits at a far. More of the direct abuse is coming from our own people.
I think it has a lot to do with this, though, too. A lot of people who, as you say,
after you go, Kogos.
Okay, after people who are homophobic or they see things different, it's because they don't understand. They still are trying to figure out, why are you this way? Why do you like this? Why do you want this? Why? So it's like they can't connect with it. So of course it's kind of like, this shit is weird to me. It's crazy. Why you know, it's supposed to be like this. And it comes to biblical terms. Why, you know, man supposed to be a woman supposed to be a man. And it's like, you like what I like, you like me, you like guys, like I'm a guy, you're a guy, you're a girl, you're a girl. It's like people don't understand. So people who don't understand, they're lost. So they don't get it. So of course they have that curiosity, but it's still anger. Like they don't accept it because they find it as biblical terms abomination. And this is why people don't really understand. And because they don't understand, they're never gonna get it. You get what I'm saying?
Cole, go ahead.
Well, I wanted to point a finger.
Can I put a pin in it right there? Like,
yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say that to bro, like, it's like one of the main issues though is that like it's selective ignorance because heterosexual people, particularly heterosexual black men, act like they don't have the wherewithal to ask questions. Like there's no reason why somebody can't inquire.
Bro, if it wasn't for you, Conscious, I wouldn't have nobody to ask questions to, bro. I would like to represent for my side for a second. I be saying shit on my videos about trans, and they be trying to cancel me every time I talk about it. I feel like they're ready to just cancel me and take me out, bro. And I don't got nobody I could just keep it 100 with. Without you, I couldn't even talk like this. Like if I put it on my videos, to be my comment section. Why you say it like that? You transphobic? You don't like gays? What you talking about?
You gay?
What you mean? That's what I'm saying.
But look at how easy it was when you simply extended opportunity for a conversation.
It's not always that easy.
It's not always.
You never took it there though. You never came for me to get me out of here. Because of, you know what I'm saying? We had a conversation in the chat. You didn't back off. You didn't run. You didn't go highly offensive like you ain't this. You didn't try to get me canceled. That's why we was able to have it. If you were white, Conscious, you would have been just like anybody else. Report me to YouTube. Say that you're trans and I'm being homophobic. Bullshit. Like the trans people have power. They know it, and they're abusing it a little bit to the point where people who do want to give y'all a chance to understand, we're scared.
I guess.
Yeah,
Anything that we say, we gonna get got. No matter what. Anything we say, we're wrong. You don't understand. You're lost. You don't get it. This is automatically. This is the number one thing that you're gonna get automatically. Because no disrespect, you guys have a lot of power.
Here's the thing though, most people have queerness in some type of proximity to them. Whether it's
facts, I got a lot of it.
A gay brother,
That's so gay.
Whether it could be a child, whether it's a church member, but it's a coworker.
Oh, shit.
And so the question comes, why instead of asking questions to my queer counterpart, I prefer to evangelize hell to them. I instead prefer to evangelize the Bible to them. I instead prefer to tell them how wrong they are. There's no sincere effort in general on behalf of the heterosexual community to inquire and to establish relationship to that which they don't understand before they get the fear mongering and projecting, which just makes this shit even more convoluted as an issue.
I agree. I can get behind
that. It's the same thing. People don't understand, but also too, a lot of people just don't want to know. Like they don't get it. A lot of people just don't want to know because they feel like knowing is just gonna it's just gonna kill the whole situation that they feel, or they gonna feel something about themselves. Maybe the fact that they knowing what you feel, or you tell them how you feel, maybe they're like, damn, I felt that way too. Maybe I'm gay. Oh shit. Maybe so now you got them guessing and thinking, and a lot of people, don't know what the fuck they want or are confused. They might mess up like that, so that's what they don't want to know. That's why they get more angry and upset with you, because they still find it like, how the fuck this girl like you and you want to fuck with him?
Hey, bro,
that's a problem.
There's a lot of undercover niggas out here. Niggas is gay, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
I saw that trans at the grocery store parking lot in a full yellow dress with highlighter yellow wig on.
That shit. This nigga did go hard.
Bro, by the time she got to the end of the parking lot, nigga pulled up in a Beetle, picked him up, drove off.
Yeah.
Think about it. That parking lot wasn't that big. That wasn't a meetup. That was a random nigga in the area and said, God damn, what's up? Clearly you could tell it was a man. But niggas like that shit, bro.
I know.
Because I like that shit. I don't play. But shout out to this amazing epic conversation. We got more topics to talk about here with ConsciouzTV. Special guest right here on Jody's Corner. This dude is tight. Shout out to E, Virgo, Flash, Code, Conscious, man. See y'all in the next motherfucking episode. We out. Deuces.